Very good evening, all of you, and thank you so much for joining us on this all informative live. Firstly, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the entire LegalWise team for showing such a support on our previous content, which was how a foreign citizen can practice law in Australia. So, based on that, it really encouraged us to do a research and as a result, we now have this video in front of you before time. We had promised it we will have this in October, but we have it right now. And today we will be discussing of how a foreign citizen can practice law in US, in the United States of America. So I have been able to gather as much information as I could based on the feedback from various agencies, based on the feedback from my colleagues, and I have been able to compile all that information, and I will be discussing that with you in today's live. Let me quickly try and keep this as short as possible, and therefore I will be having a timestamp which will mention on what topic is covered where. Let me quickly go through the topics that we're going to be discussing in today's live. Firstly, the course options. What are the courses options that are there? What is their duration? Secondly, the salaries. What are the approximate salaries for the people who are working there, for the attorneys, for the various professions, whether it is corporate, whether it is litigation. Then I would also be covering with you the approximate and tentative costs of how much would you have to pay, what are the scholarship options that are there, what are the limited scholarship options that are there. I will try and discuss that as well, and also give you certain tips and some cheat codes that you can try, which would definitely help you if you end up there or are already there. And some other professions that that are linked to the legal field, but they are not exactly in the court. They could be outside the court. We will be discussing that as well. So basically all these things we're going to be discussing on that would actually help you if you wish to either migrate to the US, or you are already in the US, or if you have plans to do that. So this will give you an idea on what the other things that you should keep in mind, what are the points that you must keep in mind if you intend to migrate over there. So let me first start off with the courses. If you have to study the student path, if you want to go there as a student, what are the courses that you would have to do? The first one, which would be LLM. LLM or a JD, a Juris Doctor, which is for 3 years. So these are the two courses that would be required for you to do if you have done your LLB in India. I'm just considering from the fact that if you've already done your LLB in India, then or from any other country, then you would have to firstly go for an LLM, or you can also take the option of giving a Juris Doctor, which is for 3 years. As if in the case if you want to just go for corporate law, I think according to me and many others, just a simple LLM is sufficient enough, which would help you in certain subjects that I will discuss later on. If you wish to specifically go into litigation, many people do suggest that you must do a Juris Doctor, as that would give your profile a certain boost. I'm not saying that it is difficult and not possible in case of an LLM, but on a serious note, the chances are little less. I mean, you can always go there without an LLM as well, as some states do just admit you. They just would give you the option of giving the Bar Council exam if you are in certain states. One of them is Texas, second one is New York, and there is a third one which we mentioned in the description below. So these three states bar councils permit you to just get enrolled in the bar if you have a foreign degree. But again, the chances are pretty less for that. That is the case. According to me, it is just the state of Austin, but I will still verify that. The state of Texas, but I will still check with that and mention in the description where you can just go without a foreign degree. Others would require you to just have a degree in law. That is for sure. There is no bypassing that thing. So LLM, yes, you must do that. And if you wish to appear for a bar exam, if you want to qualify for a job, then it is highly advisable, and we will discuss that why we should do a JD and just not an LLM. It is possible in case of an LM. I'm not trying to demotivate anyone, but still, employers do consider a lot of things. That is one thing. Secondly, the placements in certain degrees, like in the case of a JD, is slightly more than in the case of an LLM, because what happens in an LLM is your LLM is like done in 9 months. You don't even realize when it is over, and by the time then after those 9 months are over, you just have about 3 months to prove that you either have a legal training or a legal job. And if you're not able to prove, then continuing for you over there is not an option. So chances are a little less as it comes to LLM. But again, not to demoralize anyone, uh, that is actually the fact. Moving ahead, starting salaries. Let's quickly go to the starting salaries. Average starting salary in the US would be, based upon the different jurisdictions, between 60,000 to 110,000 US dollars per year. Maximum 180 US dollars per year. That is the maximum starting salary that a fresher can get. Uh, as I just said, law in LLM is mandatory if you want to sit for the bar exam, and there are some states that give you certain relaxations. One of them is Texas, and others could be the New York and the California bar, as I just mentioned. So these are the three states according to me, and that is what is there. Uh, Apart from that, what are the options? And also, I would like to tell you one more thing. In Texas, as I said, it is possible, but again, they may not just prefer you. If you are uh, uh, if you're not having a local degree, which is an LLM. So that is one thing which we must consider. I will also try and discuss the possible options that you can do to get a job, which we will of course discuss in the end. Moving ahead, as I just mentioned, now let us talk about the cost structure of both the degrees, the LLM and the JD. The cost structure is approximately 50 lakhs to 75 lakhs per year. Yes, that is the approximate cost, including the cost of living and the cost of education. Approximately, you can think of spending around 50 to 75 lakhs a year if you're going for an LLM, which is approximately between 70,000 to 90,000 US dollars, and just that is just for tuition fee. That does not include the cost of living. When it comes to a Juris Doctor, the fees is slightly more. Some Juris Doctor degrees are for 2 years, some are for 3 years. So you would have to cough up somewhere between 50,000 to 60,000 US dollars per year, approximately, if you want to go for approximately, let's talk in rupees, approximately 75 lakhs to 1 CR approximately would be the fees of a Juris Doctor degree per year. There are certain requirements for a JD degree as well. Some law schools will actually ask you to give an LSAT from your own country. Some will not even ask. Some will just give you admission on the basis of your BLLB degree. So that is one thing that we must always confirm with the universities. What is their selection criteria? Choosing the right university is very much important, which we will cover in the coming part. Which one to choose? Now, very easily, we are in the habit of just Googling and just thinking, we just go through the listings and just find out the top 10 top 10 law schools. We just don't we don't consider a lot of things in mind. So one thing we should keep in mind while choosing the law school is actually to understand which one is actually good. Now, according to me, I will just give you some examples which I have heard are a few good ones in the US, and some of them are, let me just take a note. I have mentioned, written it down somewhere here. Just give me a moment. NYU is one of them. There is one more in, actually, you know what? I will just probably mention them in the description below. That actually makes more sense. It's the Pennsylvania, the one in Pennsylvania, the Columbia, the Harvard. Of course, these are the good ones. They provide you good scholarship options, but there are a few others as well, and I will try and mention them in the description below. Suggestion is that if you are going up and if you are investing money in a law degree, then you must always consider the one that are the good ones, because they are the ones that would actually land you, that could possibly land you in a good in a good company. So choose the best. That is one thing. Second thing is, if you have any doubts or questions, just email them. Ask your doubts, and I'm sure they would respond you with whatever information they can. Moving ahead, the scholarship options, the fee structure, I've shared with all of you what is the approximate fee structure. If you are looking for a scholarship, every law school has a scholarship. Just email to them and they will tell you what is the procedure. usually from the start date of the semester usse 1.5 saal pehle, 1.5 years before that, they approximately open their scholarship programs. So you can always have a look at that. The Tata, the Birla scholarship program are a few organizations that provide you with financial assistance if you want to. So you can have write them an email as well and inquire about the scholarships as well. Just keep in mind to approach them within time, because the applications for such scholarship start like 1.5 years before the starting of a course. So just make sure you just ask that. And also do not hesitate to approach the law schools as well, asking them if they have a scholarship option or not. So that is when it comes to choosing a law degree. I've told you what are the two types of courses, and I've also told you what are the courses that employer would prefer. They would definitely prefer a JD as compared to an LLM if it is litigation. If it is a normal corporate job, they would consider LLM. In fact, certain jobs, it is easy for you to get through if you have an LLM in that field. Taxation, tax is something that is one subject. Tax may you could get into with just an LLM degree. So that is something that are there. Now, some tips which I would like to give you, keeping in mind now we have discussed what is the process of going there as a student. Now let us discuss certain other points of getting there by choosing a different path, which is the path of a corporate job. Now, what you can actually do is that first thing, look for a company that already has an office in the US. Look for a company, get into that company and work there for about 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 years, and then you would have a good chance to make a move to migrate to their US office. You can always apply for various positions, because once you are already in a company and they see that you've given a good amount of effort, that you are a useful resource, there are plenty of options, and trust me, situations are much more simpler in those cases. So getting into a company that has an office here and then migrating to their US branch or the ones in Hong Kong, UK is actually a good option. In that case, you do not have to give the bar exam, and because you're going to be in a corporate job. Second thing is that tax law. For those of you, if you feel that you are really interested in the tax law, so either the LLM option is there for you. Secondly, you can just try and apply in these companies like EY, Deloitte, PwC. They have specific openings for legal jobs. So just apply for a legal job in whichever city you are: Gurugram, Delhi, Mumbai. They have offices in all these cities. Bangalore, as a matter of fact, they have an office. So try and get into them in that in at the local office, and then probably after 2 or 3 years, definitely a lot of people do that, and most of the people that I know have actually taken this part, is just to first work in the local office and then probably try for migrating. Because when you're applying for a work visa, if you have a strong employer that is supporting you, because if you're already there, getting it might be difficult, but once you have given those 3 to 4 years to a company, maybe even more, and if they feel that you are a valuable resource, they would not mind providing you with the relevant documents, which definitely helps you in getting a work visa. So that is something that could be a good choice. One more tip that I would like to give you is, now we are kind of discussing the tips that you could keep in mind if you wish to migrate. One of the tips could be is, if you feel that you cannot invest in a JD, or if you are getting a good LLM university, try and after you've started your LLM course, you can always convert it to a JD. So you can always convert that LLM course after it is almost completed or after it is half done. आप उसे JD में convert कर सकते हो, and you have the option of making that degree into a JD. So if you're kind of confused on what to do, that could be a possible option. Then also the tip that I've told you, I mean, work here and then migrate into any office that they have, maybe in London, Hong Kong, Dubai, US, anywhere. You have the option of doing that as well. Third thing which I want to tell you is, there is a portal on the, I think I've taken a note of this somewhere, the NYU Law School. They actually have a portal where they allow you to upload your resume. Then certain companies have an access to that. If they find your profile good, they would give you a chance for an interview as well. So if they find that your profile is good, they would actually give you a chance for an interview, and this is actually something very good. But however, I have been told that they do prefer people from the European region. So that is what information I have. So that is actually a fact. But again, to be honest, there is no harm in applying for this. The so if you have any doubts or questions, just write to the to their contact mail ID, and they will definitely tell you how you can get a hold of that portal. Even I'll try to mention in the description after this video is uploaded as a recorded video. Moving ahead, these were a few tips that I said. Now let us try and consider the last portion, which is if not corporate, if not litigation, what next? Usually, sometimes when you're already there and you might have difficulties in getting a job or getting a placement, people do consider other options. Like in the Australia video, I had mentioned that the registered legal practitioner that helps in filing application for those who are applying for a PR. That thing is there. Likewise, there are two options which I would like to tell you. The first thing is something similar, which is a foreign legal consultant license. You have to apply for that, and once you do that, you can actually not practice in the courts. You can actually practice in the law firm in your own country that has an office there. So that option is also available. Once you have that license, you can actually work for a company which has an office in India, who's working for those in US as well. So that is again one option. Court work you cannot do, but then you can work as a legal consultant. The second thing is a contract review of documents. So that is something also that you can do. Most KPOs are there in India. We have a lot of KPOs in India, which I will mention in the description below, where you can get a job in reviewing documents. So something similar, you have the option of doing that as well. If you manage to end up in a job in a KPO here, you can of course continue there for about 2 to 3 years, and then of course migrate to the corporate office of that KPO in US or any other country. That option also is there. So you can also get a job over there as a person who's reviewing documents. So many people who kind of don't end up getting of those who do not are unable to find jobs even after investing so much money and a lot of effort in LLM. They often sometimes go for these jobs in order to secure their position, because technically it's a job. So it does help them to kind of extend their stay and show to the immigration that, see, we have something to do here. So that is something that does help them. So considering these two jobs, foreign legal consultant license, having that license, and having a job in review of documents is something which you could always consider if you're not landing up in a job. Last but not the least, I would like to add one more thing, that getting, if you're investing in an LLM or a JD, I would seriously I mean, this is not to demoralize you or what, but I would seriously suggest getting getting a job in a company here and then migrating would be slightly easier. And nevertheless, if you feel that you do not have any financial constraints, and even if you're just going there for a degree, you can of course go there. I mean, you can always consider that option. But if you feel that you definitely need a job and you need a return on investment of what you have invested, in such a case, I would just suggest you a few things, that while you're in your college degree, this is the few tips which people always say. Try and network as much as possible. Try and do as much internships as possible. And usually these things actually help you make good contacts. And once you have good contacts, they will definitely help you a bit more than if you were just applying to random companies. So rather than just applying to various companies, having certain contacts, working for some law firms as an intern, and securing your position at a later phase is something that is actually a good idea. So just you can just always keep that thing in mind. And last but not the least, you should be prepared of spending, because it's a huge investment, approximately 50 lakhs per year for an LLM and approximately 75 lakhs to 1 CR per year for a JD. So both of them, they have their benefits. Sometimes in cases of LLM, they do not offer campus placements. In cases of JD, yes, they do have campus placements as well. So always confirm this from the law school where you are trying to get admission, whether you provide campus placements or not. And I'm sure in most of the JD courses in the good universities, they do provide campus placements. So that is what I wanted to add. So it's a huge investment. And in the previous video, many of you had asked of, how to go there through the education route. So I have tried to mention this video, how can you actually go through the education route? What are the things that you can do? What are the degrees you can choose? If you wish to go for a corporate degree, LLM is sufficient. Corporate job, LLM is or a tax job, LLM is sufficient enough. It could also land you a job in litigation, which is, of course, then you have to pass the bar exam, and then it is for the companies to hire you. But they, as I just said, most of the companies do prefer if you have a JD, a JD degree, and others, sometimes it is difficult. And if you think that you only want to get into litigation, then going through JD could be a decent idea if you are willing to cough up that amount. So to always, consider that thing. And once you have made into that country, once you have reached there, then I suppose giving you 100%, using those weekends to network, to create contacts, to work hard is something which you must focus, because that is what I can assure you that hard work definitely pays, but then for that you will actually have to make use of your everyday, if your purpose is to end up in a job through the student route. So that is all what I actually had from my end. If you have any doubts or anything to ask, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much, Aditya, for sharing your feedback. It means a lot to us. Sir, is an LLM from America affiliated and accepted practice law? Okay. Oh, sorry. You were asking a question. So is LLM from America affiliated and accepted to practice law in India? No, unfortunately not, because as per the Indian Advocates Act, if you have a degree of law from a foreign country, so in that case, you cannot practice law in India. So if you have a degree from a foreign country, you cannot. So you have to actually get an LLB for 3 years in India. So that is a mandatory requirement. So that is unfortunately the law in India. So that is there. So that is, I guess, from my end. I tried to tell you the student route, what are the things that you should keep in mind, what are the tips that you have, what are the alternate options that you can consider if you are not getting the job as an associate in a law firm or in a corporate job. Always applying, if you have the interest to go into corporate, applying in a company over here which has an office there is definitely a easier route, because you are not investing much. So in an LLM you have to actually invest a lot, but that ways you would not have you wouldn't have to invest so much. So just you can just keep that thing in mind. So I guess that is all from my end. And if you have any doubts or any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know down in the description below. Anything, please feel free to let me know. So that was it from my end. And thank you so much for all of you who have joined. And if you have any questions, please just let me know down in the comments below. So take care of yourself, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you.